Morning. We go to we're doing economics to chapter 40, the World Trade Organization and the World Trade Partners. So we're going to start with World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is established in 1995. It replaced the General Agreement for Trade and Tariffs. So there was General Agreement GATT, G-A-T-T. But in 1995, it was replaced with the WTO. So the WTO was officially established in 1995. So the WTO was established in 1995, replacing GATT, the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. The WTO has around 164 members and employ over 600 people, including economists, lawyers, statisticians, and the rest. So the WTO is strictly the body that takes charge of trade relationship between countries across the world. So what are the activities of the WTO? One, trade negotiation. The WTO aims to reduce or eliminate trade barriers through negotiation. It does this by encouraging countries to draw up trading agreements. So the WTO, it's an organization that involves itself into negotiation with other members. So what do? They draw up, it encourages other members to draw up trade agreements regarding anti-dumping, trade relationship, whatever it will involve trading. The World Trade Organization ensures that countries, they have their own agreement, and whichever country you have to deal with, you have to both agree on those terms and conditions. So that is about negotiation. With negotiation, it becomes easier for each country to deal with one another. The second point, implementation and monitoring. Implementation and monitoring, that's another activity of the WTO. The WTO ensures that members comply with trading policies and practices. So whatever rules that has been drawn up by the WTO may ensure that there are some workers, there are some employees of the WTO that monitors the affair of members in terms of trade relationship. So compliance simply means doing the right thing, following the right procedure, following the right patterns. So this is what the WTO will do. So they don't just make laws, they ensure that the laws are complied with. Do we understand the point there? The third one, settling trade disputes. Because there are different countries coming together, there's bound to be conflicts. So it is the duty of the WTO to ensure that whatever problems that might arise or occur in terms of trade relationship is being solved. So here I wrote, the WTO settles conflict among members in terms of trade. It ensures that trade flows smoothly. So it ensures that there's smooth running in terms of trade relationship. The fourth one, building membership. There are approximately 20 countries which are yet to be a member of the WTO. So that means the WTO encourages countries to be part of the organization. So it is important for all member states, like all countries, to be part of the WTO. But we still have approximately 20 countries that are not part of the WTO. So it is the duty of the WTO to encourage them, to convince them to be part of the World Trade Organization. Because if the WTO is able to convince those countries that are not part of the WTO to join, it means it could bring about trade integration, which means that there will be free flow of trade and globalization might be very solid. The next, and that's the last one there anyway. Then we have the criticism, the problems that comes with WTO. One, it is undemocratic. I want to say it is undemocratic. What is democracy itself? Democracy involves people. So democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. That is democracy. So democracy simply means you put people in front. You think about people whenever you have to make decisions. That is what democracy is all about. But here they said the WTO is not democratic. Why do they say the WTO is not democratic? The WTO rules are written by and for corporations. That means the WTO, their rules are for businesses, which simply means they don't put into consideration consumers' views, agent views, any other environmentalist views. They don't put it into consideration. They only want to make rules that governs the benefits of businesses. So it's all about businesses and businesses, not about consumers, people. No, it's not about that. So that's why they said it is not democratic. Look why. WTO rules are written by and for corporations. This means the views of consumers, environmentalists, human rights, and labor organizations are often ignored. The WTO doesn't think about the people. They think about corporations because their rules are made for businesses. So that means businesses are paramount for them. The third criticism, it favors the rights of corporations rather than workers. The WTO rules doesn't allow the government to ban a product due to how it's produced. So the WTO thinks more of corporations. So they think more about the rights of corporations, the rights of businesses, than the rights of workers. So if a business is using child labor, it is not the business of WTO. It doesn't concern WTO. And WTO will ensure that a government does not ban such company. So that is not good, right? So that's what the point they are making here. They don't care about how the product is being made. You must not ban a product. A government doesn't have the right to ban a product, according to WTO. Is it clear? The next one, it is destroying the environment. If trade liberalization is encouraged, output will increase and it comes with resource depletion. WTO encourage trade relationship, yes or no? So that means more of export and more of imports. So if export has to be done, it means resources have to be used. So resources are used, and when you continue to use resources, they will get used up and they will be depleted. And the more we continue to produce, the more damage we bring to the environment. So that is another criticism about WTO. The next one, it favors wealthy people. It favors wealthy nations over poorer nations. Poorer nations are not invited to the meetings that may affect them, and they don't have enough qualified workers in the WTO. So the WTO think more of wealthy nations than poorer nations. And when you look at it, most of the members or most of their workers are from developed countries. So the member or the poorer nations are minority in the WTO. And as the saying goes, majority carries the vote. So it's always about the majority, not the minority. Do you understand? And the last one, it is causing hardship for poorer nations. Farmers, why is it causing hardship? Why is it causing hardship? Farmers produce enough food in the world to feed everyone. However, it is argued that the corporate controls food distribution. So farmers can produce good food that will be enough for the whole world, but they don't sell them because they are in the primary sector. So the secondary sector, the tertiary sector decides food distribution. So which simply means the elites, countries, decide how food are distributed. It's not in the hands of the farmers that produce them. So this makes millions of the population, millions of people in the world to lack food. Get the point here? Food is being made, food is being produced, but farmers would not convert these raw materials into finished goods for consumption. So the consumption relies on the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. And the tertiary sector, both the tertiary sector and the secondary sector, is with the developed countries or emerging countries. So which means food distribution is in the hands of the corporations. Do we understand?
Yes.
Any question about that?
No.
Thank you. So that ends WTO. The next class we'll talk about trade patterns.